What's up, YouTube homies? How does it go? The sign. Yeah, win. This is a win. So, this is the Rivet lock Leuku, and it's a rivet lock forged from a round stock. This is a type of spring steel that has a little bit of higher vanadium, which is very similar to tank armor. Now, here's number 2. Alright, so this is much more refined. I made this one basically for myself to play with and test. It's got a larger rivet lock. Scandi grind, beefy blade, not too heavy. The balance point is like right there or something. Yeah, pretty good. So it goes in pretty smooth, and then a nice click so you can actually wear it however you want. Now these rivet lock Leukus, I've been thinking about making these for a very long time. And, you know, I have a lot of leaf spring, but it wasn't until a local blacksmith who's retiring, so he has he's like 2 tons of this steel, and he sold me 100 kilos, and he asked me to do something with it and test it out and see what I could do. And I've tried a lot of different things. I tried to forge weld a piece of like kitchen knife steel right on the edge. I don't know that Japanese way of doing it. I don't remember the name of it. And then I was like, fuck forge welding. So, but this had been on my mind for a while, and I figured, I went to a knife fair this weekend, like a Pulko festival, and there was a lot of Leukus there, and I thought, you know what, maybe I'm gonna do that. And the inspiration for this, of course, came from the Rivet lock Pulko medium. So this one, right? Basically the handle, really. Well, this has a bit of rust on it, you can see. But this is a very nice, very light, and do everything knife. I got a nice sharp clip point on there. It's got a nice tight space here. I like it when it's tight there. But pretty much everything from here onwards is what defines these Rivet lock Pulko medium, Rivet lock Pulko long, and Rivet lock Leukus. But all of that actually stemmed from this. This is like the first Rivet lock Leuku before I actually was even properly doing rivet locks. It's pretty nice, but the key thing that I learned from this one was actually how nice this kind of weird, this backwards tapering handle feels in the hand. It feels very, very good. And the construction of this is I basically took a triangle and turned it into a knife. Feels good in the hand. It's kind of an interesting blade. Although it's got that, you know, classic style kitchen knife grind where it's just, you know, basically full flat with a micro bevel, which is nice, but I prefer Scandi grinds. So this is kind of where the Rivet lock Leuku actually started, and I made this several years ago. It's in pretty good condition. I haven't done anything with it. But from that, we led to, you know, this, basically. But one key thing I wanted to talk about was this little prototype I made maybe last year or the year before, and where I started playing around with these bolsters. And what I noticed with this is that, as nice as it is, it's a nice knife. You see how if you're playing with it, right? If you're moving your finger forwards, it's pulling the handle out of your hand, you see? It's like it's kind of trying to push it out, like this. So it is nice. It does feel good in the hand. It's a pretty nimble blade. But you see how, okay, the handle, you see how by doing that, it's kind of like, just by moving your fingers around, it's trying to pull the blade out of your hand. Another thing too is that the back end of a lot of these kind of larger paracord wrapped handles, they tend to fray because, you know, it's sticking out of your equipment and it's bouncing onto walls and it's bouncing into all sorts of stuff, and then eventually this kind of frays. You know, lean into a machine and then it's got a bit of fraying. So this led to the development of this, which basically became a standard handle design from the choil here to the pommel. Very nice. And this way, you see how when I move my hands, it locks my pinky in there too. So it keeps it nice and secure in there. And then you got a little finger groove there. So basically, it's just the rivet lock system is mostly like a handle construction with varying blades and varying sizes to the entire knife. What would be nice is to get into leather work a little bit, because I'd like to make some kind of harness where you can carry this on your back like this. Like you can just throw it on like a backpack and it just hangs like that on your back. And then you can just grab it and then pull. It's a bit tight for now. Pull and then start using it and then putting it back away. You could also have it, you know, hanging on some kind of rig like that. But generally when a knife is this big, what you do is you get a belt. Just a random belt. Not the belt that you normally wear, it's an extra belt, and you wrap it around your belly. And that's your Bowie knife belt. You don't use it for anything else. Maybe add a little pocket on there or something. And then you can strap your Bowie to it from the front. You can move the belt to the side. You know, and then you can raise it up above your gut if you need to take a dump. So you're never really taking it off. It's just kind of stuck there. And then, if, you know, you just get to your campsite or whatever, you can unbuckle your belt. You know, wrap the belt around the sheath and then just leave this by the campfire or something. Or a common thing, for example, in the Finnish army, when you have knives that are kind of reaching this kind of size, is you strap them to your backpack. And it's your backpack knife. So, but overall, I'm very pleased with this design. I'll be making more, but not for a little while, because I have a lot of work to do this week and the next to prepare for a fair, and I'm forging some other stuff. And you need a power hammer to do this. I mean, forging something like this out into a blade blank is pretty tough with just your bare hands. So you know, with a power hammer it's a bit quicker, but you still take some time. You need special tongs too. So, but there's the rivet lock Leuku. And I have some other ideas. I'd like to put a lanyard hole somewhere. I thought about just drilling a hole right here. Not on these two because they're done. I like to have the lanyard hole from the front. Maybe even drill from the side, but I don't know about. But it's nice to have the lanyard hole from the front, but the easiest would actually be, I don't know if you can see that. That's very nice. I domed the pommel I domed the back end of the blade over the pommel. If I leave this extended out a little bit, I could drill a hole there for a lanyard hole. So lanyard holes are a bit of a yes and no kind of deal. Some people like them, some people don't. Because the thing is, if your knife slips out of your hand, do you really want it coming swinging down into your cock, you know, or your leg? Sometimes it's better to just let the knife fall on the ground, you know, try not to catch a falling knife, as they say. The other thing I'd like to do is do a D-guard. I think that's really nice. D-guards do have a useful modern application other than fighting, and that's when you're chopping through branches and very dense bush. It's nice to have some metal here to protect your fingers that you can push through the bush with, and you can make more confident hits into branches, because it'll protect your fingers from hitting, you know, the leafery, the bush or the branches. And if you're doing a low cut, you're cutting something that's quite low to the ground against the tree. It's nice, and it's nice to know that you can actually put a lot of force into it and your fingers will be protected. So that would be a really fun one to do, but I'm not going to be doing that for a little while still. And this is rivet lock number 2. So the larger rivet I think is really cool. I think I'm going to stick with that. They're pretty consistent, these two. This one's a lot cleaner overall. And then another thing I'd like to do, of course, is I don't know if you saw, for example, with this one, I got a leather underneath here, which is pretty nice. So I thought I'd do something like that on the next ones, just to beef out the handle a little bit, you know. And then, but this is a lot of work because you got an entire nano cord underneath, then you got the leather, and then you got nano cord, and then so it takes a long time to actually do that. And there's patterns. The nice thing with the leather is I can, you know, put patterns into it. A manuki would be cool. That would be pretty chill. So I like it when it's full black like this. But here it is, boys, and maybe one girl. I don't know. I know one girl watches. So the rivet lock Leuku. This ain't no mall ninja shit right here, boys. This is fully forged vanadium spring steel Leuku. As you can see, there's a lot of design inspiration from Outback Australian knives, Bowie knives, and then Leuku edge, really. So pretty cool design. It's not something you see every day in the knife world. The rivet lock system is not really a common thing. And that's it. That's all for today, boys. I'll see you all later.